The Acolyte actress Amandla Stenberg has jokingly described showrunner Leslye Headland as a, quote, sick, twisted masochist. Really can't make this stuff up. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And these comments came in an interview with Entertainment Weekly discussing the 5th episode of The Acolyte, which debuted on Disney Plus last night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Headland first explained the reveal of Khmer as a Sith. She said, I think a good twist is not about hiding everything from the audience and then throwing it on them like, hey, this is what you didn't see. We hit it so well that you didn't see this. She added, I think a good twist is telegraphing what's going to happen. And then once it does, executing it without an ounce of pity or sentimentality. So that is how she explains the reveal. She went on to explain why she had the red shirts get killed first and then have Daphne Keene and Charlie Barnett's characters, Jackie and Yord, killed. She says, that's what I loved about starting with the red shirts. You're kind of like, oh, he's just going to kill a bunch of red shirts and everybody's going to be fine. And OMG, Jackie's dead. Okay, I'm listening. As for the brutality of the kill, she said this, I just figured someone would stop me and nobody did. I figured someone would say, this is too far, but they didn't. It's unclear, in my opinion, it's unclear why she would think this, given how Darth Vader butchered the rebels in the one of the ending scenes there, Rogue One, how Kylo Ren butchered the aliens in the opening scene of The Rise of Skywalker. In fact, we have multiple beheadings in the prequel trilogy, including Jango Fett and Count Dooku. Qui-Gon Jinn is also impaled by Darth Maul, and then moments later, after Qui-Gon Jinn is killed by Maul, Maul is cut in half, physically cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, not sure why she expected someone to stop her. I think she's just trying to position herself as being edgy, and it's like, this stuff has been around in Star Wars for a very long time. You're not the first person to do this, and I feel like she's trying to maybe position herself as this. They all, you know how they like the firsts, right? I'm so edgy, I killed a bunch of Jedi. So reacting to the brutality shown in the 5th episode, which, I mean, there's like one scene, I guess, where the Sith guy, Khmer, force pulls another guy onto his lightsaber that he's already impaled another Jedi on. I don't know. It wasn't too brutal in my opinion. Like I said, we've seen beheadings and everything in Star Wars previously. So it wasn't like, I don't know, it didn't seem like it was that big a deal to me. But anyways, this is what Stenberg said, and Entertainment Weekly said she said it while laughing. So she said, we were all like, Leslye, the way that you take them out is so brutal. What the hell? What kind of sick, twisted masochist are you? So obviously, I guess, in a playful manner, but usually there's a truth to some of that stuff, and we'll get to that. But this is how Headland responded. She says, I guess I always thought, well, Anakin killed a bunch of children, so again, we've like, yes, but we didn't usually see it. We didn't see any of that on screen. It obviously takes place off screen. But like I said, we've seen a lot of brutality in Star Wars before. I mean, it's literally called Star Wars. It's about wars in the stars. But I think there might be an ulterior motive in regards to the brutality against the Jedi. Headland has previously discussed how she believes religion is oppressive and has made it abundantly clear that she views the Jedi as this powerful institution to be opposed in the Acolyte. Remember, she's a woke cultist, and she believes in this oppressor and oppressed narrative. The Sith are now the oppressed, so they're the underdogs. And she actually talks about this in an interview with StarWars.com. She says, if Star Wars is about the underdog versus the institution, in the Acolyte, the Jedi are the institution. And if the bad guys are actually the underdog, it just seemed like a cool reversal, she would later add. So, and she's also talked about how like they're reviewing this from the Sith perspective, etc., etc. The show clearly paints the Jedi as incompetent, rigid, beholden to their rules, so much so that they will literally turn off their lightsaber because they do not combat an unarmed opponent, despite the opponent having just butchered 6 or 7 of your fellow Jedi and threatening to kill another individual who has also killed multiple Jedi. So clearly trying to paint the Jedi as kind of these incompetent, dogmatic buffoons, and how like that's wrong and bad. So as for her comments on religion, she told Vanity Fair this: "It is unusual to point to pieces of pop culture that have representations of extreme spirituality. I don't think so. The concept of God is such a heavy concept. The concept of religion is such a really oppressive one." So there you go. Oppressive. Concept of religion is oppressive, she says. "Especially for people like myself and many, many others. So what you just made me realize is that part of the lasting effect is that Star Wars is a spiritual story." She just realized this in an interview with Vanity Fair while talking about The Acolyte, a show that she had seemingly been in production on or was about to go into production on, had written a story about, just realizing that Star Wars is a spiritual story. Wow. She goes on and says, "Even Tolkien is not as spiritual as the Force is or as Yoda is." That's not true. "I remember as a child being raised in a Catholic home. When Yoda says, 'Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter,' even as a kid, I understood that so much more than I understood catechisms and sacraments and all of those other things. I got that immediately, that I have a spirit in addition to having a body. For George to have done that, it's almost an impossible thing." What? No, it's not. It's a hint at Evangelium. Tolkien talks about this in his On Fairy Stories. Tolkien has this in Lord of the Rings. It's definitely not an impossible thing. I mean, there's tons of anime that have spiritual aspects to it, spiritual worlds. Not really sure what she's trying to make here. It's definitely not impossible. It's a reflection of the reality that is around us. And then she wanted to confirm that this was part of the Acolyte. She said, "That would be my big hope in getting to play in this world, to continue to search through a spiritual story that changes someone's identity or destiny. That to me is the heart of it." So I think she actually wants people to become Sith, given the fact that she's claimed to have told this, she's telling the story from the perspective of the Sith. She says that the Jedi is the institution. She's clearly viewing this stuff in a lens of oppressor versus oppressed. She claims that religion is oppressive. The Jedi are the quote unquote institutional religion in Star Wars. We literally have dialogue from the 5th episode from Chimere, basically saying his main goal is that he wants freedom to do whatever he wants, freedom to wield the power that he wants, freedom to take on an acolyte and teach that acolyte his ways. Basically, the freedom to do evil, which is a perversion of the word freedom. But that's exactly what he is doing there. It's the most accurate thing in the show because it tells the truth. That's what people like Leslye Headland want. I think she's actually maybe speaking through Chimere when he says that there. And so when you have Amandla Stenberg describing her as a sick, twisted masochist, I'm not sure that's the case. I think it has more to do with the fact that she has massive amounts of guilt about what she does, what her lifestyle is. She knows what she has done is wrong. She's clearly saying here that she was raised in a Catholic home. And I think that she's angry about that. She doesn't want to accept the truth. And she's lashing out on it. And that's why she killed a bunch of Jedi. Those are just my opinions. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.